Hey, welcome back to Midas Letter Live. My guest this segment is Alvaro Torres. He's the CEO of Khiron Life Sciences, trading on the TSX venture under the symbol KHRN. Alvaro, thanks for joining me today.
Thank you, Jim. It's always a pleasure to be here with you.
Alvaro, you are the CEO of the first Colombian company listed on the Toronto Stock Exchange that's not a mining company.
Yes, we are.
That's incredible. So this is the first cannabis company listed in Canada.
The first cannabis out of Colombia company to be listed in Toronto Stock Exchange.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Quite an achievement, yes.
When did you get started? How long has it taken you to get this far?
So we closed our last round of financing on January 12th, and then from that point on, we've been talking to the exchange about going public and doing all the transactions, all the financial accounting systems, getting our RTO transaction approved, and we got the conditional a couple of weeks ago, and last week we got the final approval to go public this week.
So, very cool.
Yes.
And so right now in Colombia, is it legal for recreational, medical?
It's only for medical.
Okay.
It's only extract, so no flower. I think that was very smart from the government because that way they can separate these recreational illegal activities from what's really going to be a really medical pharmaceutical type of industry. So I think that was a very smart move.
And are the doctors in Colombia prepared to prescribe cannabis extracts for various conditions?
We're preparing them, Jim.
Okay.
So,
I remember I was there actually during the
conference
you guys put on. That was really exciting.
We've had 2 conferences so far, over 1,200 doctors combined. We had one in Bogota and Medellin. And the idea is to start educating them about medical cannabis. So by the time we're ready to go with product at the end of this year, all these doctors and patients have already been educated on how to use it. So we're already starting this month at the end. We're starting the same process in Mexico. So we are hosting Cana Mexico with the former president Vicente Fox to start having the same conversation in Mexico, which is 120 million people population.
Sure, you'll have to ask him about Donald Trump.
I don't think I'll make that question public.
Okay, so how much cannabis are you going to start growing?
So our first phase is 7,500 square meters that can yield around 8 tons of dry flower, so let's say 800 kilos of extracts. Our entire phase 1 facility can yield up to 15,000 square meters, so that would be around 16 tons of product. That will give us all the way to 120,000 patients in the domestic market. But we have the ability to expand, as you saw when you guys went to see it, to grow all the way another 20 hectares of land. So there's plenty of capacity there. I think the issue now with Khiron from the beginning is not to necessarily the issue is not to grow it, but how do we get the patients? And Khiron is all about patient acquisition and doctor engagement, and that's what we're working on.
Sure. What about the economics of selling and growing marijuana in Colombia? I mean, obviously, it's going to be cheaper than it is in Canada.
It is, yes.
But can you get the same sort of prices as you can in Canada?
Well, the prices are going to be a little bit lower, of course, because of the purchase parity that the Colombians and Latin Americans have. But when you're talking about growing something that you can grow from 10 cents to 30 cents on the flower, and you're selling it at $4 a gram of flower equivalent, that's tremendous profits. And now we're using all those profits to start acquiring patients. So what we're going to be doing for the next 2 years is the strategy of acquiring patients so that we can actually build a strong database. So the economics of it are very beneficial. And the fact that we're just starting this business, it's going to create tremendous value for the shareholders.
Yeah, and I heard that you had an international strategy already in development.
Yes, so of course Colombia for us is just a platform to a Latin American market. You know, Latin America is 620 million people. There are 68 million potential patients in the region, and everybody's looking for an alternative to opiate-based medication or taking 30 pills of ibuprofen a day.
Sure.
So if we can go with this very high-quality product that's domestically made at a very affordable prices in a market that nobody's really looking at right now. Everybody's focused on Canada, North America, and Europe, but Latin America by itself is a tremendous market, and if that's all we can focus on, I would say that's a tremendous market for us to be leading.
Sure. Then what sort of the build-out phases that you have planned? You've got phase 1. Is there a phase 2 and phase 3 already?
Yes. So right now we're focused on phase 1. We are looking at trying to get onto phase 3 in the next 3 years as we start to look at how to export into markets like Mexico, Argentina, Brazil, and Chile. Hopefully our phase 3 will be up there running in 3 or 4 years. That's 20 hectares of land. That gives us 170 tons of dry flower capacity. As I said, now the issue for us, which is from the beginning, is how to acquire those patients, and
Sure.
that's what the company is really all about.
How many patients are there potentially in Colombia?
6 million patients in Colombia alone. Those are diagnosed and treated patients with chronic pain, epilepsy, anxiety, depression. And we're working with all the medical associations on those conditions to start doing all these conferences that you attended,
Sure.
So that we can start spreading the word around.
Right.
And in the end, when you're getting educating on all these doctors, and they hear is Khiron, that's the idea of embedding a brand into the hearts and minds of the patients and of the doctors.
Sure. How many growers of medical cannabis are there right now actively growing in Colombia?
Well, I believe there's around 15 to 20 licenses being awarded in Colombia. There's several strategies. Some people are looking at growing cannabis to be selling to the international markets as a lower cost extract. That's not our strategy. Our strategy is more to focus on the domestic markets of Colombia and Latin America.
Are any of those ones currently supplying the medical market?
Right now, no, because we're one of the first companies to get all the cultivation and the extraction license. So I would say Khiron is at the tip of the spear on this. But of course, there will be many more companies to evolve with this. But that's not a bad thing, Jim, because in the end, you cannot build a successful restaurant in an empty street. We need to develop a market. We need to develop an industry. And in fact, that Khiron now is the first company from Colombia to go public on the TSX. That's going to open the doors to many more companies. And I think we welcome that because it helps us to spread the message around.
Sure. Would you consider Khiron to be employing a sort of best-in-class approach to medical cannabis, much like Canopy Growth is?
We are. All the genetics that we started our facility with are for Israeli procured, and as well as the SOPs. And we're bringing ISO 17025 for the microbiological lab, GMP compliance, extraction facilities, good agricultural practices, because in the end, for us, this is not a commodity product. For us, this is a product that patients need to take and doctors need to feel safe about. So the more quality you add to that, I think the more value you can subtract from the product. We're not in the model of making it as cheap as possible, because we believe that's a race to zero that's really not going to benefit us, our patients. But the more we focus on them, on quality, on high quality, that means we're going to be talking at the same level like companies as Canopy.
Very good. All right, Alvaro, let's leave it there. We'll come back to you in a quarter's time and see how you're doing. Thanks for coming in
Thank
today.
you, Jim. Always nice to be here. Thank you so much.